On this episode, we talk all about posting jobs, especially winter needs coming up here over the next couple of months. Atlas All Access starts now. All right. Two recruiters. Everyone knows Braden. I would think everyone knows Braden by now.
Hi.
Mike Von Dolan is with us, too. You've been on once or twice before.
Yeah. Was it Beer with Friends or...
A Beer with Atlas, yeah. We've
yeah,
only
that
done
one.
like 60 episodes of that, but good job. Okay, good.
you know.
Right. Okay. So the idea behind this one was I've seen a lot of job posts lately. Maybe not some ours, some others. Okay. And I wanted to ask some honest questions about posting jobs. And so, Braden, you post jobs all the time.
Yes.
In your group, you post jobs, correct?
Yes.
Or just in general?
I have a couple groups that I post to that I stick to.
And, Mike, you do not post jobs.
No, I do not.
Okay. So, let's talk about that first. Pros and cons of posting jobs. Why do you do it? Why don't you do it?
I post jobs because there's an audience that's looking for jobs, and social media is an easy way to reach, I think, the greatest number of people at any one time. I could talk to, say, for example, I could talk to 20 NICU nurses in one day by picking up the phone and calling them, or I could talk to 3,000 potential NICU nurses with one post.
Okay.
So I don't necessarily have to hope that what I'm bringing to the table is the right fit, when I can just show what I have in terms of jobs or access or things like that, and just kind of allow the nurses to be the ones that decide, hey, maybe this is a conversation that I'd like to continue.
So then what's the argument for not posting a job?
I would say, well, one, I don't have the brain capacity to deal with all that coming at you, because you have a lot of people that are reaching out to you. So it's great from that point, but
From a sheer volume
volume, and
Okay.
that's where, with everything else we got going on, I don't have the brain capacity to do that.
Understood.
Plus, you get a lot of different types of people coming to you, so I just have a different way about going and basically finding the nurses I want to work with.
So let's clarify for everyone. It's not that Mike is dumb.
Correct.
Brain capacity, right? It's just that you recruit completely different.
Correct.
It's more of a personal one-on-one sort of thing. You want to make those connections at your pace,
Yep.
rather than at the volume pace, which I think both of those are totally fine. I don't see any problem with either one of those. What happens, though, Braden, when a job is filled or is closed, and then someone comes back to you and wants that job? What happens then? Because I think this is where it gets sticky.
Yeah, and I think it's a stigma that comes with recruiting on social media, is that, well, all the jobs are filled. Everybody's trying to bait and switch you with the biggest pay packages that they can. And then, conveniently that job's filled, but the same job also, is available for this lower rate if you want that, which sucks.
Sure.
That there's that stigma. And I think that has to do with a lot of other things than just recruiting on social media. So I think everybody knows that most of the jobs are probably filling as the jobs get posted.
The really, really good jobs.
The good ones. Like when you see, if you see something that's too good to be true, like everything else on the internet, chances are it either is or it's being filled by somebody, because most recruiters, they have nurses that they work with that would fill these jobs. And so as soon as that job comes out that's crazy good pay, they're already submitting people that they're already working with.
Correct.
Which is why you need to have profiles set up with recruiters that are on top of things like that.
So you're saying everything on the internet isn't true?
Yes.
Are you sure about
Correct.
that? Okay. All right.
If it is, then I need to rethink a lot of things.
Maybe.
In life,
That was
because
clearly sarcasm, obviously. Yeah.
I mean,
clearly, maybe not.
posting jobs also is a good thing, because it also allows us to show nurses what we actually have for facilities and whatnot, but they have to have the right understanding that if they see that and it's been posted 3 hours ago, that facility might already have 50 applicants to it.
Absolutely.
Which you have to have the right understanding that if you try to apply for it, you might not get the job.
I would say probably 99% of the time you're not going to get that job.
Yeah.
Maybe. And maybe things have changed. I haven't received a job posting from a hospital in my current, what I do right now. It's been at least 3 years since a hospital has emailed me, Rich, I need an ICU nurse, right? So maybe things have changed. I don't know. But 3 years ago, if they emailed me and said, Rich, I need an ICU nurse, like you said, I already have a handful that I can submit. If you post that job, what are you really doing?
What I'm doing is, Mike said it. Most of what I am trying to do, or my intention when I'm posting jobs online, is to show value, to show Atlas, to make sure that we're present, and to show the types of contracts and facilities and pay packages that we have. Sure, you might see my post that I posted yesterday, and that job might not be available, but that hospital is going to need another PICU nurse or another med-surg nurse, and the next time you can be ready for that job.
Yep.
That's what I was getting at, because if they've had one need, they'll have more needs, right? So you aren't necessarily fishing, right?
Correct.
You're not saying, oh, that one just closed, but send me your profile and I will get you whatever, right? It's this hospital uses a lot of ICU, PICU nurses or whatever. These needs could open up again. Let's start that conversation. And there are some that are very clear when they do that. And then maybe there are some that aren't necessarily. But I'm sure you can parse those out. You've seen them. You know what they look like. Right?
Like the pay packages or the...
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, you can tell. If you sit around long enough, you kind of learn patterns.
So talk to me about the anatomy of posting a job then. What are you looking for specifically when you put that job out there? Or in your case, when you're talking one-on-one to somebody, like what are those points that are important and what are maybe just not so important necessarily?
Well, from my end, when I'm talking to nurses, because I have a lot of nurses that do look on Facebook for jobs. And it's fantastic because they can come to me and say, hey, I saw this. Can you check into it? But one really important conversation that I have with my nurses is there are some facilities that allow you to bid the bill rate, meaning they can max all the stipends out and make it look like a amazing pay package.
Yep.
But when it comes down to things, the client manager has a bill rate that he knows jobs move at. So, if a job gets posted for $2,000, but we know it's going to move at $1,500, sure, you can submit for $2,000 with XYZ company, but you're probably not going to get the job because they're hiring at a $1,500 pay package. And that's just where I try to be upfront honest with, my nurses to educate them that just because that is out there, it doesn't mean it's not possible, but it's highly unlikely.
So now, to satisfy the knee-jerk reaction there, it's not just we're taking the lowest rate possible, right?
No.
It's because there could be lower. There could be $1,200 or whatever, but they're not taking that. That if you took these, for example, that allow you to bid out that bill rate and you make the best possible pay package you could possibly get out of it, and they're going to settle for something in the middle, that's a fairly common occurrence.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I mean, I get those all the time. They say, hey, Mike, you pitched me this at $1,550 per week, but I saw it on the internet for $1,900. Well, yeah, I mean, I ran the numbers, and you sure could potentially go in at $1,900. But again, it all comes back to me wanting to give you the best opportunity at getting that job if you're really interested in it.
Yep.
And that's the client manager side. They've done it long enough, and they've seen where placements go through, and $1,550 is where we're going to be at to give you the best shot.
Yep. All right. So then, posting a job, what does that look like? What do you are you quoting pay on that? Are you just what's the best possible structure that you found for posting those jobs?
I don't know if it's the best. It works for me. I post to a couple of pretty consistent groups. You know, a lot of them are just pediatric groups, just because that's kind of what I know. It's the nurses that I build my desk around. And because I can standardize my format and what I'm posting, so I don't have to necessarily tailor, this one does pay, this one does not do pay, because all the groups that are on have different requirements. And a lot of those requirements are meant to protect nurses from exactly what we're talking about. Pay packages that aren't real pay packages or things like that. So what I do, I break down my pay package, hourly stipends, travel, the shift, the start date, like all of the information I have short of what the hospital is, I try and include in my post, because I figure, you know, we're already on a short time frame if you want that specific job right now. Going through and having to like weed information out and, you know, pull teeth, so to say, to get the information that you might want to know if it's a job that you want to fill out an application for or anything like that, just seems like a waste of everybody's time. So I generally post as much information as I can so that I can be upfront and honest about it. I post it with a picture because visuals online, I mean, if you're scrolling through 30,000 pay packages at any one time, it's the one that's got the pictures. That's what's going to cause somebody to stop and look and kind of get the information. And then I try to include the same sort of information in the graphics that I put out there.
Gotcha. So then last question is do you find you get more out of posting these jobs than you maybe do out of your brand, like your personal brand, the Team Braden thing? And do you find you get more out of those one-on-one conversations rather than going off of other job posts?
I think that building off of my brand and my job posts, they go hand in hand. It's not a one or the other type of thing. I try and post things consistently and stylize the same, like a lot of the same sort of things go into every single post so that I can build that brand. I mean, before I had a sticker, I had 40 job posts in, you know, a 3-day period that all looked the same, that all said my name, that had a picture of me on them, you know, with, you know, obviously inside Washington, D.C. or Washington or wherever. So I think that it's not one or the other. It's posting honestly and posting pay packages and being, you know, straightforward on social media is part of my brand.
And he nails it there. Like, he has his following and he has people that trust him in his process and how he goes about it. And then I have my people that trust me and they know that when I'm telling them, you know, about a job or a lack of a job in the system, you know, they know I'm being upfront with them and, you know, we can move forward past that job. You know, for instance, if it was posted 3 weeks ago, I can go in the system and give them that information and say, look, you know, I see that you saw this job today. Yeah. It closed 3 weeks ago. Like that just builds a lot of trust with me and my traveler, but he's doing it just in a different way because he's posting jobs, but he's also being upfront about, hey, that closed, or his following knows that he's trustworthy on what he's doing because he's been doing it for a while.
Yep. It's a chicken and egg argument.
Yeah. I mean, we are way different, but we kind of meet somewhere down the way on the same path.
Absolutely. Yeah. And you'll find that, I think, across the board with different Atlas recruiters as well. Yeah. Not everyone puts their face on a sticker, right? I mean, not that that's bad. I think it's very good.
I'm not good enough looking to be able to do that.
Well, neither is he.
We took a lot of detail out of that. That's not much.
That's absolutely true. So, all right, Braden, Mike, thanks for joining me. So, do you think you'll post jobs on the internet now?
Probably not.
Okay. Do you think you'll stop posting jobs on the internet?
I've slowed down a little bit.
Yeah.
I have a very dedicated group of nurses that I work with, and now I'm at the point where they're just sending me nurses to work with. So please keep doing that. It's how I eat and it's how I feed my family. So please don't stop because I don't want to have to post a lot of jobs anymore.
I think
I have to.
I think what I've learned from all this too is that it's going to continue to happen. There are positives on both sides, as long as there's a honest outcome when that phone call actually happens, because it's got to be a phone call at the end,
Oh, yeah,
right? I mean,
absolutely.
it has to be that talking about that specific job or that specific area or that specific post, then you have that honest conversation about that job in particular, then you'll always end up on the good side.
Yeah, as long as you're being upfront and honest with people.
Yep.
I mean, that's the 𝗿𝗏 way, and that's nothing that's going to change either, no matter how you get a hold of nurses or talk to people. It doesn't matter. It's all the 𝗿𝗏 way.
And from the nurses' side, just ask the right questions too. I mean, that's really important. Our job is to educate you the best we can so you have the right resources at your fingertips to make the right decisions.
Yep. Perfect. All right. Braden, Mike, thank you.
Braden, out.
Stepping on my line. We'll see you next week.